When you hear of rebellious, you think of a negative character, an aggressive, stubborn, or impatient person. But actually, this person shouldn't be too strange from the social playlist. In fact, he is and should be very common in areas of one's life. And don't worry, I'm not about to tell you to go robbing banks or trash talk your boss and the elderly. Nor is this for the guys who think rebellion is a brand and not a tool. So pay attention. Whether you're a grown man, high schooler, college dudes, all who forgot how to fight for something real. This is a view of the so-called rebellious life. Question: who is the rebel? You see, the rebel is the man who refuses to swallow the script everyone else is handed. He questions rules that feel dumb. He skips polite lines and makes his own path. He is impatient, restless, allergic to, that's the way we've always done it. He can be fast to quit a soul-sucking job and slow to build a life, because cages make him nauseous. Let me paint him for you so you can see him in the street. This is the guy who sleeps late, no alarm. He throws open the blinds as if he owns the city. He skips breakfast, grabs bitter coffee, and goes straight to business. The kind where rules are optional and work is measured in results, not timesheets. At noon, he moves through town like a ghost with influence. He doesn't shout. He collects favors in quiet rooms. In the evening, he shows up uninvited, never overdressed, never unnoticed. People leave conversations curious, a little unnerved, maybe wanting more. At night, he disappears from the safe social feeds and gets to work, planning, calling, making things happen while the city sleeps. Those are the attractive parts. Now things could still be ugly. Rebels burn. They burn bridges. They think disruption is an identity instead of a tool. The same impatience that creates openings can also make you a loose cannon. Freedom without accountability looks a lot like laziness or selfishness to the people cleaning up the mess. The rebel who never learns to build will always be a headline, never a legacy. History gives us both the glory and the cautionary tale. When rebellion had teeth, it was surgical. A single unjust law, a single immoral order, one battle line. People risked prison, exile, death. They had cause, discipline, and a plan beyond themselves. That's the kind of rebellion that changes institutions. Now compare two modern examples that say everything you need to know. First, Elon Musk. Love him or hate him, the guy is a living blueprint of rebel with a cause. He looked at NASA in Detroit and told them, "You're too slow." Then he started SpaceX and Tesla and forced entire industries to reevaluate. He nearly went broke. He lost friends. The press called him a lunatic more than once. But the cost was worth the change. Electric cars became cool. Private rockets became possible. Industries moved faster because someone refused to accept impossible as an answer. That's rebellion that finished with a better rule. Second, a story with Julian Assange. WikiLeaks is a complex, messy example, and a necessary caution. He exposed classified materials that the public arguably had a right to see. But the fallout became the story. Legal trouble across countries, years trapped in an embassy, and a cause that got muddied by personal controversy. Assange's rebellion didn't include a sustainable exit or strategic roadmap. The personal cost swallowed the message. This is rebellion without a blueprint. You become the story, and then the cause dies under the weight of your persona. If you don't like those names, whatever. The pattern matters more than the people. The pattern is simple. Rebellion without planning turns you into noise. Rebellion with planning turns noise into new rules. And here's what's killing modern rebellion: performance. A well-shot rant, a viral stunt, a no-permission TikTok. These are cheap rebellions. The internet arms every loud, attention-hungry kid with a megaphone. Noise is cheap. Sacrifice is expensive. Real rebellion costs you something real. Time, reputation, money, sleep, relationships. The difference between 1,000 imitation rebels and a handful of real ones is that the real ones actually pay that price, and they do it strategically. So how should you be rebellious? Simple answer: treat rebellion like a tool, not an identity. If you live as the rebel, you'll build a shrine to excuses and call it authenticity. Use rebellion to replace bad rules with stronger ones, not to dodge responsibility. Here's the rule: rebel with a blueprint. Break the rule. Then immediately create a stronger rule that gets you to a measurable result. Now I'm going to give you practical, ruthless rules. No fluff. These are the steps the modern rebel needs if he wants to build, not just burn. Rule 1. Pick one rule to break that actually improves your life. Not to flex, not to get likes. Pick one stupid rule that's holding you back. Something specific. Break it and document what replaces it. Don't just shout about it. Replace it. If you quit a job, have a plan for revenue. If you quit college, have a timeline and milestones. Break meaningfully. Rule 2. Ship results, not rhetoric. If you're loud about change, but can't show a single page, product, or proof of work, shut up and get to work. People respect finished things more than philosophies. A prototype, a sold product, one customer, that beats a million opinions. Rule 3. Keep one unburned bridge. Don't be a walking arsonist. The world runs on relationships. You will fail. You will need allies who will help when you fail. Burn bridges only when you must, and even then, leave one path back if possible. Rule 4. Make accountability painful. Set a public cost for failure that actually hurts you. Bet money. Make a public apology clause. Lose privileges. If you don't make failure costly, you'll fool yourself into comfort. Urgency breeds action. Rule 5. Own the loneliness. Real rebellion is lonely. The crowd will often not love you while you're doing the dirty work. If the crowd loves you during the grind, you're probably performing for the crowd. One more viral stunt. Loneliness is not your enemy. It's a filter. If you can handle it, you'll find focus. Rule 6. Measure everything. You can't improve what you don't measure. Break a rule and set a 30-day measurable result. Revenue, users, pages written, prototype shipped. Use numbers like a scalpel. If it moves the needle, keep it. If it doesn't, iterate. Rule 7. Exit strategy before the stunt. If your rebellion exposes something, plan the aftermath. How do you protect the message? Who will carry it if you get knocked down? That's the difference between a headline and a movement. Those 7 rules are not polite, they're effective. Let me be uncomfortably honest for a second. A lot of people who call themselves rebels are cowards wearing armor. They use rebellion to avoid hard work, to justify laziness, or to demand permission for undisciplined behavior. That's pathetic. Rebellion without sacrifice is cosplay. It's a headline with no backstory. Another ugly truth. Rebellion will cost you relationships. If you never repair, never apologize when necessary, never take accountability, you'll be alone when the chips are down. Pride isn't noble, it's short-sighted. Real rebels own their mistakes fast and then build. So here's the test. If you're reading this and you think rebellion is a personality, do this short exercise. Pick one rule you will break today. Make it small but real. Replace it with one measurable rule that produces a win in 30 days. Publicize it in some small way. Tell a friend, post the promise, or drop a $100 bet on failure if that gets you moving. Then work like hell. Measure, report, iterate. If you do that, you're not being fake. You're being strategic. You're not a rebel because of how chaotic you look. You're a rebel because you break a bad rule and put a better, stronger one in its place. A quick hard example. Stop saying, "I don't have time," and break that rule. The replacement. For the next 30 days, wake up at 5 a.m. for 2 hours of focused work. No phone.